Hello and welcome to episode 145 of Ready to Mosh. I'm Kev P, and alongside me is the festival to my blues. It's Gem G.
Doomsday Blues.
Big come down.
Absolutely. Yeah, you come down in many ways, don't you, after a festival?
Yeah, it's just the constant hunger after eating shit for 5 days and drinking for 5 days.
Yeah, you just kind of graze as you need to if you're at your tent because you've got your snacks type
And a
thing.
barbecue and all the wonderful arena shit you can eat.
Yeah, which isn't constant. You have to go out your way to get that. I mean, like when you're in the tent, though, you're like, oh, I've got the beer munches. Let's have some mini cheddars. Let's have some Haribo.
Let's have some knobs.
Let's have a biscuit.
Yeah.
Cheese twist.
Oh, I love those cheese twists. I knew I should have bought more boxes of that. More boxes of that for next year.
Definitely. And yeah, it's like the moment you get there and you tense up and you crack your first can, you're just like a functional alcoholic for 5 days, really, aren't you?
Pretty much. Yeah, I am.
Well, it's just you're just in a constant state with slight peaks and troughs, probably, but
Yeah.
a general blood to alcohol ratio is higher than your average Wednesday.
Yeah, even for me.
Exactly.
Well, Wednesday is probably a good place to start then, isn't it?
Well, you say that. I was going to start with Tuesday night.
I have actually got a bit about that on my Wednesday, but yeah, let's go with the Tuesday night information.
Are we actually going to say what this episode's about?
Well, it's pretty obvious from the title.
I think it is, but yeah, download review / what's the word? I had a word. I've got download brain still.
It's the download review part 1.
It is.
Wednesday to Friday.
Yeah, download memories, if you will, from this year.
Hmm.
But yes, let's begin on Tuesday night, I think, because I think that's quite significant.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Yeah, Tuesday night, we'd packed the car up, had a tea. Think I was probably sat in my pyjamas, just having a bit of a chill before an early night, watching whatever we were watching.
I have no idea.
Something we were watching. And I spotted a photo on, which I think was on the Download RIP camping Facebook
It was
group.
on the Facebook group, yeah.
And then forced you to stop proceedings with our televisual viewings.
A televisual feast.
Yeah. Which was basically, I think it was it a drone shot? Someone said it was a drone, but it couldn't have been near the airport.
It was from a plane.
Was it from a plane?
We could see the fucking wing.
Did you? Oh,
yeah.
Anywho, it was a download site, which, fair enough. But someone was like, oh, is that Sleepy Hollow? And why are there bell tents at the top?
Yeah.
Caused a bit of a mini uproar in our house, at least.
I might have lost the plot a bit.
I think we both did.
Yeah.
So if you don't know Sleepy Hollow, well, actually, Metal Meadow 2, as we mentioned, got moved or created next door to Sleepy Hollow over the road from Park Farm.
Yeah.
Where they were going to house people in bell tents, teepees, and other such housing facilities. No one ever said anything was going to be in Sleepy Hollow, but there were 4 rows, I think, 3 rows of bell tent type things, and then a row of mini pod type things at the top of Sleepy Hollow, which has never happened before.
No.
And I would say it took up about 20% of the field.
Oh, at least 20%.
At the top. Because the main thing about Sleepy Hollow is that it's kind of flat at the top, with a kind of lilts a bit to the left on one side, and then you're on a bit of a hill.
Yeah. Yeah, and I went a bit apeshit at that because I think what did me was the fact that they couldn't even be asked to tell us. They just went, no, we'll just stick them up. We won't tell anyone.
Like when they sent the email out with the update about Metal Meadow 2, and they sent it to all our IP customers. So we got that email, didn't we? But they were like, this only affects you if you're in this part. Just a little note to say, by the way, there will be some other accommodations in Metal Meadow, not in Metal Meadow.
In Sleepy Hollow.
In Sleepy Hollow as well.
Yeah. And they stuck them all at the top. And we would have been probably about 3 to 4 rows back, I think.
I would have thought so, yeah.
Because we did quite well to get the spot we did.
It wasn't dissimilar to last year, was it?
I think it was about the same spot.
I think we were a couple of rows further back than last year.
Yeah.
Which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot, and maybe added a 2-minute walk on to the toilets.
Yeah. What it did do is kind of, because they didn't tell us, that's the thing that pisses me off, is that they just didn't tell us at all.
Exactly. If someone hadn't shared that photo.
Yeah, we wouldn't have known. We would have just gone, what the fuck is this?
Which we did anyway, but we'd have done it on the morning when we turned up.
Yeah. And yeah, so the download Live Nation VIP Nation who do all that. All of the people that have any involvement in the communications for RIP are an absolute fucking disgrace.
Yeah, I think
I can't think of anything else to say. It's just the fact that they didn't. Well, I think we said it in the last episode. The fact they didn't tell people from Metal Meadow that they created this because they were moving this. They've known for fucking ages. You've known, so why not move it? And then, but also, people who were supposed to be in Sleepy Hollow ended up at the bottom of Metal Meadow too, didn't they?
we heard that on some comments. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we were more squashed in Sleepy Hollow this year. Like the trackway behind us
was nowhere near us.
Like the one in front of us, between us and the tents in front as we looked out of Sleepy Hollow was narrower. And then there was almost kind of 2 rows behind us squashed in. So yeah, we definitely felt a bit more squashed in. But at the same time, they were still kind of asking us how much space we needed. They weren't trying to squeeze us that way. But obviously they didn't leave enough room in some places. People had to park at the bottom of Metal Meadow too. I don't know how many people that affected. I've not seen any pictures or anything.
Well, initially they wouldn't have done because they would have been in Sleepy Hollow. So I think the issue wouldn't have been there.
That's true.
But yeah, I think they just oversold everything. As in, not the festival itself, but oversold the amount of tickets available for RIP. Squashed the rows up.
Or they underestimated how much space they'd need to put the people they moved to Metal Meadow to in that new field. Could have been it. It might have been a later on decision when they started putting the tents up and realised they wouldn't all fit in.
Yeah.
I don't know. And obviously we appreciate that, people with access needs will need to go to the front of the field and all that, but...
All we want is communication.
Yeah.
Which they didn't do to Metal Meadow and then they didn't do to us. So, yeah. It's just an absolute shambles. Anyway, that was Tuesday.
Starting off on a positive note, things can only get better, someone once said. So anyway, Wednesday morning.
Yeah, Wednesday morning. I thought the journey in was pretty standard.
It pretty much was, yeah. We didn't really have any traffic, only the usual kind of motorway bottlenecks around junction 25, 6.
Yeah. What was interesting, though, is I can't remember the last time we queued that far back to turn right into RIP.
No, it took us, I don't know, 45, 50 minutes to get to Donington, pretty much. And then we queued for about an hour to get into RIP, would you say?
No, I don't think it was. Because the traffic was moving, once we turned right into RIP, the traffic was moving okay.
Yeah, I meant though back on the road.
Oh, back on the road, yeah.
Yeah, so when you turn right onto Melbourne Road.
Yeah.
Because you'd still have traffic there that are going into guest and access camping and traffic going straight on there to West Car Park as well, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess that was causing some bottlenecks. And then there was a little bit of a wait when we got in the RIP kind of holding pens.
Well, I was thinking actually kind of just to turn, because we had to turn right into RIP itself.
Yeah.
We were just kind of like sat almost in the middle of the road. And I must admit the stewards were doing a really good job of kind of like stopping people, letting the traffic through into RIP.
Yeah.
And then kind of resuming the traffic again. So they were doing a really good job at that bit. And I mean, obviously there was a delay kind of getting in. And I think we probably spent around 30 minutes just trying to get through that bit.
Yeah, I would say so. But one thing I did notice, my favourite bit of download really, was when we were in the holding pens, there was only one dog working. And I'm sure in previous years there's been 2 dogs because there's 4 rows waiting.
Yeah, it's usually 2 and 2, isn't it?
And then as we kind of pulled up into our lanes, we were really well ordered with it. So when it went in order, because before it's been a bit higgledy-piggledy, hasn't it?
Yeah.
With which lanes go forward. But then, yeah, they had to swap dogs over because it was due for a shift change.
Yeah.
So they had to get a new dog in.
Although I know it took longer, but it was almost kind of worth the way that they did it because they were letting the lanes through one at a time. Where we've been in previous years and they've let a shitload through from one lane and 2 cars from our lane.
Yeah, and I suppose if you get one dog that's quicker than the other dog.
Exactly, yeah.
So in a way it worked out better.
It kind of worked out, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was also worth noting, that while we were in the queue and then going through, I would say 90% of the cars were heading into Park Farm.
Yeah, I know. I said to you, isn't there at least 2 queues worth? And I don't think anyone went over to Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Park Farm or Eager. I mean, there was plenty in Sleepy Hollow when we got there already, but...
Oh, yeah. There were well, it must have been like 4 rows or whatever
Mm.
when we got there, but at least 4 or 5 rows. And then obviously a few access. Well, not access, but, the pre-pitched.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty kind of straightforward to get in, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. Once we got through, we just kind of parked up, told them how much tent space we needed.
Yeah. And we did, I mean, this year we had great neighbours to the side of us, great neighbours to the kind of like the front of us. We were just surrounded by nice people this year, and because they came in a modified van, didn't they?
Yeah, it was kind of a camper van.
It was kind of like a modded kind of van, into a camper van, and I think they said to us, have you got enough room? Are you okay there? And we're like, should be. And they said, well, we're in the van, but we've got like some awning that needs to come out as well. And so they actually moved their van a bit further down just to accommodate us as well.
Yeah, which is very nice. I think we might have been okay without that, but it's hard to envisage when your tent's flat how wide
it is.
How much room you actually need. I always find that difficult when they say, how much room do you need? I'm like, well, this kind of tent space.
Yeah,
type of
and it's
tent.
kind of like, let me put the ground sheet down.
Yeah, and we'll work it out from there.
Having to work it out from there. And then it's up to you if you've got enough room as well.
And obviously with it being air beams as it kind of ends up a bit wider.
Yeah, it fills
out. Like a little porch now that we know how to use our little porch. Yeah. That adds on. And obviously if you want a barbecue as well, we don't want to be barbecuing outside someone's front door essentially, do we? That was another consideration on our half as well, really.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to kind of be on top of people almost, do you?
Yeah.
You want to give them a bit of space to kind of do their own thing. But yeah, so like room wise, it worked out pretty good. Like I say, we had lovely people to kind of like to the back of us in a sense.
Yeah.
Backstroke from, if you know what I mean. It's hard to kind of explain, and to the side. So I was kind of really glad about that. It's always a bonus if everybody around you is really nice. The people who were kind of like behind us were with a group of friends, so we kind of we spoke to them when we saw them, and
one of whom is a listener.
Yeah. So that was always nice. Yeah. It's like, whenever there was a suitable kind of chance, if we're in the same area, we'd all chat, and so it was a really good kind of atmosphere around us, I think.
Yeah, which I think generally on the whole it is, but
I'd say 90% of the time it is.
Yeah, there's always one, isn't there?
Yeah, there is always one.
But we didn't get that one this time.
No, it sounded like somebody else got one. With the things that were flown about on the Facebook RIP group, it was just kind of like one person thing saying it's boring around here, nobody talks. It was like, everybody talks to each other.
There was a few people who commented about, I think first timers in RIP were saying how unsociable it is. And I guess in a way it naturally is, because you've got cars between tents, whereas in general camping you kind of all
living on each other. Yeah.
So you are closer. You kind of have to go out your way to make the conversations if you want to.
Mm.
But generally most people smile and say hello as you'll kind of walk into the toilets or the showers in the morning, or
if you're in a queue
whatever.
For something.
It's kind of, it is what you make of it. If you don't, people aren't just going to necessarily come up and say hello, because not everyone wants you to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a more relaxed, slower paced kind of thing. I mean, the name Sleepy Hollow should fucking give it away, to be honest. There's like a curfew of about, is it 1 a.m.?
It's 1 a.m. for noise, yeah.
So there's a curfew on that. And I mean, we wear earplugs anyway, so it doesn't really matter to us. But I can see some people, if they come from the village, would kind of like just wouldn't necessarily appreciate what they're trying to do in that bit.
Yeah, and you did hear the occasional kind of loud voices talking around that time, people who'd obviously come back from the village or anything, but it was generally fine, just as people walking past. I always love the irony, though, of like, rest in peace. You've still got the planes going over. They ain't partaking in the rules, are they?
You are directly under the fucking flight path, aren't you?
Well, everyone is, aren't they? Yeah. But I think this is a sound curfew 1 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
But you've still got flights going all night. And I swear every year they get more planes, especially overnight.
They probably do.
Sure.
Yeah, the amount of planes do increase.
I'm sure at one time there were no night flights at all.
No, there's always been night flights.
Not as many, maybe a couple of carrier planes, what are they called?
Cargo planes.
The one.
Carrier plane. Not fucking pigeons.
That's what I was thinking, carrier pigeon. DHL carrier pigeons. Ever so loud. And I'm sure one night there was a helicopter. That was rude. Felt like it was going to land on the tent. Anyway, there's another tangent. Where did we actually get to in in the tails of download. We pitched the tent up.
Yeah. We pitched the tent up and got loaded up. Was it first beers for about 10 o'clock?
No, it was 11.
Or was it 11?
By the time the tent was up, we were in a bit of a, I don't know, the amount of times we put that tent up and something wasn't tenting right, was it?
It's been a bit of a dig. I think it's because we're on a slope.
It doesn't help, does it, actually?
No.
Only a slight incline. And obviously, the grass is quite long, and I think that affects the...
It does affect the level. Yeah. It was a bit of a... It wasn't a ball ache to put up. It just seemed a bit of a ball ache internally. Things just didn't seem quite right.
Yeah, it didn't help that it was windy, though. That kind of affects
yes,
things
it does,
a little bit. And
then, up to get wristband before we cracked a beer, actually.
I thought we had a beer and then got the wristband. Oh, no, because we did the first can photo, didn't we, with the wristbands on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a bit of a faff getting the merch, actually, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Because there were 2 queues, one for wristbands and one for merch. We just got in a queue and then spotted people already had the wristbands on. So then we went to the other queue and got the wristbands.
Yeah. And I think by the time we'd got those wristbands, the merch queue had gone.
No, it hadn't. It was really long. So you were like, no, I want to go and get a beer first. We'll come back later.
Yeah, that was it.
And then we had 2 or 3 ciders.
Oh, you did, eh?
Well, the co-op didn't open till 12. So
we weren't in a rush, were we?
2 or 3 ciders later, we went to the co-op because we needed to get some supplies.
Yeah, that was a fucking disaster. So normally what we do is I would take enough meat to feed like a small country.
You bring a small farmyard in the co-op.
I do, yeah. And we said, you know what? The co-op's on site. By the time we've pitched the tent up, had a couple of beers, it's going to be opening. So instead I said, what I'll do is not like take, because I love just barbecued food, is I won't take a load of steaks. I won't take a load of like
lamb,
pork.
Every animal you could want.
Yeah, pretty much. I said, I'll get some burgers, I'll get some sausages, and maybe something else from the co-op. I'm thinking they'd have a few options. It's like even a couple of each.
Yeah, I thought they might have had a plain sausage and a herbed sausage, a plain burger, and perhaps I don't know, something else.
A different type of burger there. So I wasn't really concerned. And the only thing that kind of raised any concerns we thought is going to be for you. Because you're not necessarily going to get vegetarian sausages or burgers or anything.
I expected some corn sausages and burgers.
But what I mean is you were harder to cater for than me. And we got there was one type of burger. I must admit the burgers were actually all right. I quite enjoyed the burgers. And the sausages, they were just like these weird smoked sausages.
They were like a hot dog sausage, weren't they?
And I've never seen anything look so fucking anemic in a packet.
It didn't look appealing as sausages go. And I don't know whether this is normal, because normally we don't buy barbecue supplies there, do we?
No.
I think they had bacon, didn't they? But
they did have bacon. Yeah, I didn't fancy any bacon.
And whether it was to do with all the hoo-ha's over barbecuing this year, they thought maybe less people would have them. Maybe this is just normal. I don't know, but they had one type of veggie sausage, veggie burgers that I saw. And there were some corn cocktail sausages in like the section where they had pasties and pastries.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately, I took some.
You took some supplies with you, but just because we weren't sure what you'd get.
And I think I'd already bought them before we decided that we were going to do that anyway. So
I'd quite like to know from other people if that's a common thing, if it is just a type of sausage, a type of burger, and like a small, very limited amount of vegetarian sausages.
Yeah, I wonder if they do assume the majority don't cook. So, there were hundreds of sandwiches, loads of pasties, pastries, type things that people just want to snack on, obviously crisps and stuff. Even the meal deals, I only had a choice of plain cheese or egg.
I'm glad you didn't pick the egg.
Rude. So, yeah, plain cheese sandwich and a Dairy Lee Dunker. Legendary. I can't remember what pop that had. I had cherry Pepsi, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
So, yeah, we got a meal deal for us dinner. Took advantage of the old co-op membership card.
Yeah, definitely worth doing that.
Yeah, saved us about £14, I want to say.
Yeah, it must have done, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so that was worth it.
Also, when we were coming out of the co-op, I don't know if this is... I don't remember them doing this last year, because we did go up to get mixers, didn't we, last year? They were thoroughly checking every receipt as you came out.
Yes, they were.
Because I had to nip back to get a big bottle of Pepsi and...
But were they part of the same security? Because they were getting on it all weekend.
Well, yeah, we'll get on to that, I guess.
Yeah. But what I'm wondering is, were they part of the same security of the co-op?
I don't know.
I imagine they've
Quite
got to be.
possibly.
They've got to be.
Anyway, we came back from the co-op. There was no merch queue in Sleepy Hollow, so we went to get the merch and they'd run out of made-up bags
Yeah.
at that point in time. So we had to go back again later to get it. I think that was the point of this whole tale.
Yes, that was the point of the tale.
The tale
Yes.
of the merch and co-op. And at some point later, in the middle of the afternoon, even more ciders later, we finally got our merch bag, our doggy bag.
Oh, a literal doggy bag.
Literal doggy bag. I'm so excited. I'm still excited now.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised because of the way of the stuff we've had before.
Mm.
And what did we get last year? It was the fucking gnomes, wasn't
Last year was the gnomes. There was the T-shirt and then the lanyard badge and program pack. I think that was it. We didn't even get a bag to put it in. You literally had to carry your stuff.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And this year it was the lanyard badge program T-shirt, the My Chemical Romance themed or skeleton themed plushie dog.
Everyone went mad over.
Yeah. And the tote bag to go with it.
And a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, and a fucking Rubik's Cube. That was random.
That's what that with the foam hand, isn't it?
Yeah, that's another thing that's going to sit on my mantelpiece just doing nothing.
But I was so shocked because I saw someone in the queue with one of the dogs. I'm like, oh, well, they've been to the mega store and got a dog. I bet there's not going to be any of those left. And then we realised when we were talking, I think we were talking to our neighbours, that it came in the bag.
Yeah, didn't you go rushing inside to check?
No, because we hadn't picked it up at that point. It was before we actually got
ours. I thought you meant when you got the bag.
Because I said before when Andy Coppin shared the picture, like I really want one of those, just because it's a spooky little puppy. But I just assumed we wouldn't be able to get them because it's hard enough to get a normal dog at the best of times, isn't it? They always sell out. We're now a 3-dog household.
Oh.
We didn't actually go in the merch mega store again, did we?
No, and I'm really annoyed at myself for that.
I think we should have gone in when we went to the co-op because that was the shortest queue that I saw there. But we'd only end up buying loads of crap we don't need.
You say that, but have you seen the releases on the merch?
Yeah.
The hoodie that I really want isn't there.
Oh, they're probably going to do a restock though. They did last year, didn't they? Because we didn't get
everything. There were different designs, yeah. But yeah, they had a hoodie in there. It was a pullover hoodie, wasn't it? It wasn't zipped. And
the black one.
Black one.
That was a Megastore exclusive, wasn't it? As well.
I didn't realise that was a Megastore exclusive.
Sorry, I thought you meant the general hoodie.
No. Yeah, that one's on there. No, I mean the Megastore one, which I didn't know was Megastore. And it's just like a really nice black embossed hoodie with the bands on the back. And it looks really nice. And so I'm kicking myself about that.
But knowing that we were, 3-4 cans deep when we went to the co-op, it's probably for the best because we would have just bought.
I'd have bought so much shit. Whatever I could have fitted in the car, I would have bought, I think.
Anyway, what did we do for the rest of Wednesday?
We drank a fucking lot.
We did. We tested the new squashy shots.
Yeah. And I'm putting this on record. I'm not drinking fucking shots at festival ever again.
It's going to be me on the shots next.
It's just going to be you on the shots. It's fine.
No need to waft your hand at me. Fine. We shared them with our neighbours.
We did.
And we did get through it all by the end of the weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a few plain shots, a few more ciders. We had a barbecue.
Mm.
And then we went over to Park Farm to watch some bands.
Yes.
And due to the bands that obviously we know that a few bands pulled out, but one of them was on the Courtyard stage. And I can't remember who it was, bear with. No, still don't know because they're not on here. Who was it that pulled out? It was Pest Control, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as we know, obviously some of the smaller bands initially pulled out due to links with Barclaycard, which we'll probably get on to another point. But Pest Control were headlining on the Wednesday night. They pulled out, so things got rejigged. We actually went over to watch Palm Reader at 9.
Yeah.
But because timings had moved, we saw, is it This City Is Ours? The City
Is Ours, yeah.
By accident, because we didn't realise till we got there. And they were really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed them, yeah.
It was quite funny because I think a lot of people had gone for Palm Reader at 9 and you could see when they came on stage, they're like, people looking going, that's
not Palm Reader.
Who's that? But yeah, I really enjoyed them.
Yeah. It was good to see them because they're not a band that I was familiar with.
No.
I've heard the name, but never caught them anywhere, never really listened to them.
There was a few bands that we had heard of that were going to be on the Courtyard, but it reminds me, I'm really annoyed that we missed Lestelle. Completely forgot about it. We were just dead set on Palm Reader.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we ended up barbecuing later than we'd planned.
Yeah, I
And
think
completely, and we could kind of hear
that was the
bands
issue.
in the distance, and yeah, they were good. First band of the festival.
And then got ready for Palm Reader.
Yeah, who came on at 10?
Yeah.
They had a good crowd. One of their last ever shows.
No, I'm still gutted about that because they were so good.
I think a lot of people were that we were talking to, and weren't they?
Yeah. And I mean, I know they're all going on to do different things, but it's kind of like they got to a certain point. It's like, how have they not got even bigger?
Yeah.
They're a fucking incredible band live. And I'm glad I didn't get in too much of a state that I couldn't watch them
Yeah.
because I would have hated myself for that.
Yeah. I think it's a good job we ate when we did,
Yeah.
which helped.
I think
If you
it
know
did,
what we
yeah.
mean. But yeah, they were really good. It is a shame that they're finishing as they are.
Yeah, it was an amazing performance, and anybody who's going to 2000 Trees, it's going to absolutely love them. And yeah, they've got to make the most of going to see Palm Reader, the last ever show.
Yeah, I think they've got a couple
They've
of
got
other
a couple
shows,
of
haven't
dates
they, as
knocking
well?
about.
But
Yeah,
they're selling out, I think. So get on it if you're thinking about it. And then after Palm Reader, we went and had a pint or two in Park Farm
yes,
in the barn.
yeah, we did. We stayed for a little bit, didn't we? It was actually a late night for us.
It was very late for us, I have to say. One thing actually, because they have the beer and cider and yada yada in the barn, don't they? Like a little beer
Yeah,
festival. And I don't remember them having a beer token system before.
yeah, they had a beer token
Have they?
system.
I never noticed that before because I've only ever I've paid on card in the little beer festival bit before, but it was token only this year. So I don't know if that's a change. You could still pay on card in the bar inside,
Yeah,
but not at the
not the
outdoor
actual ale place.
ale. Yeah.
I could have swore blind they've done it before. I'm sure we've been there before and it's happened.
They might have done it's optional, but I'm sure you could still. I've definitely paid on card in that little.
Yeah.
Bit. Anywho, had a couple of pints with some people,
Ah,
and yeah, I think we left at the right time for us.
I think so,
We were
yeah.
ready, weren't we?
Definitely.
We've been supping for over 12 hours.
Yeah, it was about 15 hours.
I think you are. Yeah.
Yeah, we gave it a good go. And yeah, everybody was saying how cold it was in the night.
It was absolutely freezing Wednesday night.
I-
You didn't notice,
I
did
didn't
you?
notice at all, yeah.
I was wrapped up in my hoodie, my sleeping bag, my duvet around me like a little burrito, and I was still freezing. And I don't know if it's because we've been sat outside a lot in the daytime on Wednesday, and it was quite warm.
Yeah.
Best day weather-wise. Whether it was just a shock of being the first night in a tent, but loads of people were saying how cold it was.
Yeah, I don't remember a thing. I was just asleep.
Your beer jacket was well and truly
Oh, yeah.
thermal.
Yeah, the thermal beer jacket on. Definitely. It was, yeah, I just didn't notice it. And it wasn't until you and, well, just about everybody else said the next day how cold it was. I was like, oh, okay.
On to the next day.
Yeah, and on to Thursday, which was a bit of a washout, really.
It was at the end. It started off well, and it kind of, don't want to say went downhill, but
It deteriorated quickly.
I mean, I got up and went up to Rockfit for 11. It was touch and go whether I was going to make it at one point.
Yeah.
Because I think I was just severely dehydrated from the day before, if nothing else. But yeah, made it to Rockfit, dropped you off at the coop because we needed some more bread product.
Oh, yeah, I did. I went to the co-op, didn't I? I was trying to think what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the co-op, came back, I think I had a few beers, I think I had a few ciders, and I can't remember if that's when I went to sleep or not.
It wasn't then, no.
It wasn't then. Okay.
But yeah, I went to Rockfit for 11. It was a really good class. It was one of the two that Hannah was leading. So, red leader in charge on the stage. There was a really good crowd, good mix of people who'd Rockfitted before and who hadn't. A lot of instructors there. And yeah, it's always nicer to see online faces in person.
Mm.
And some familiar Nottingham faces as well.
Yeah. There was quite a lot of people you knew from Rockfit.
Yeah.
I kind of noticed over the weekend.
Yeah, I bumped into a few other Nottingham people or, yeah, just people who are kind of know online. Yeah, it was nice to do that. We met up a couple of times over the weekend, but we'll get onto them as the days progress. Yeah, I was quite hungry when I finished, so I didn't stick around for long. I needed to come back and get food, so I gave you a ring to put barbecue on and
Yes, you did. Yeah.
on with it.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like, oh yeah, I'll put barbecue on when you get back. No, write it now.
Yes, I was in full flow by the time he got back.
Yeah, we had the barbecue. I freshened up post Rockfit.
Mm.
And then I had a little Rockfit gathering in Sleepy Hollow because there were a few of us staying in different RIP places as well. So in the top of the Sleepy Hollow field, there's like a teepee, like a chill out area, which I've never actually been in before. But it was really nice with like picnic benches in, kind of a settee area.
I feel like it looked better inside than it has in previous years. I'm sure it was more sparse.
I just remember it being empty when I walked past it in previous years. But there were
Yeah.
fairy lights in and it was really nice. You could hear like the little radio thing that they have outside.
Mm.
And today, so yeah, we just met up there. That was about just after 2, I think it was. We met up in there, had a couple of drinks, sat chatting for a bit. And that's when you had a nap.
Yes, I needed a nap.
You needed a nap. That's like you were only supposed to nap till just before 3 so we could go and watch Dear Download in the courtyard.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
No, you were supposed to nap and come and collect me from the teepee. And I hadn't realised what time it was because I was just sat chatting.
Yeah, you sat chatting and I was asleep.
So we missed them.
Yeah.
And it started raining while I was in there anyway. So can't think what time it was actually. It must have been about 3:30 when it started raining.
Yeah.
The one incident actually while we were sat in there, a couple of fire trucks did go whizzing down kind of the track, the driving track of Sleepy Hollow. I was like, oh no, has he set something on fire? Don't know what that was about, but I'm sure all was well because no major incidents were reported.
No, I was just busy snoring.
Quite literally. And then I got back to the tent about 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
Had a panic because our camping chairs had vanished because it had started raining at that point. Went in the tent expecting them to be in the living room. They weren't there. After thinking someone stole our camping chairs. And it turns out they just put them away under their awning so they didn't get wet for us.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was dead to the world.
Yeah, I had to wake you up, didn't I?
Yeah. And then I think I cracked another beer and...
I think we sat inside the living room with the door open at that point because it stopped raining.
It kept easing off, didn't it?
We basically spent the rest of the evening sat in the living room of the tent drinking. You went outside at one point with a big umbrella to do another barbecue.
I did, yeah.
For tea.
Yeah, because it had calmed down. I thought, I could be all right now. And it stopped. And then it just fucking came down again. So I got a giant umbrella and kind of just sat under that, barbecuing away.
And then we sat inside for a bit and we really wanted to go and see Ern in the courtyard at 10, but we were just so cold and we could hear the rain and
it didn't sound pleasant, did
and we
it?
knew they were going to be on Friday in the dog too. So it was an early night, I think, wasn't it? Pretty much.
I think it really was an early night, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got through a few more drinks and a few more snacks and we just listened to some music and I would say watch the world go by, but there weren't anything to watch.
There wasn't anything to see, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we got under duvets about 8 o'clock because we were cold.
I think you might be right, yeah.
So rock and roll, aren't we? Not.
Yeah.
I think if it had just been dry, it'd have been fine.
If it had been dry, yeah.
Can't you? But
if it had been dry, I'd have gone and watched bands.
But just the thought of standing in the rain with no shelter, and I know we did that for the next 3 days after, but I just thought
that's different though, isn't
different.
it? Yeah. You don't want to start your weekend off on trench foot.
No. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing because I wanted to kind of make the most of the courtyard, and we didn't really do that this year so much, especially with it being back to 2 days. So yeah, the bonus of getting Thursday back as a chill day kind of failed a little bit.
Well, it did, but it didn't. It's kind of like we just kind of made the best use of the time and weather.
Yeah.
Whereas if it had been like Wednesday, we'd have got absolutely battered again Thursday. And then Friday would have just been going, oh, fucking hell.
That's true, yeah. So if the weather had been nice, we would have drank even more, I think.
Yeah.
I know the guest area did open at 4 on Thursday as well. A few people were going over there, but it didn't seem worth it for us. And I'm kind of glad we didn't because I don't think we'd have really benefited much from that.
No, I think that's worth it if you're in Metal Meadow.
Yeah.
Well, Park Farm.
Yeah, or Metal Meadow.
Or Metal Meadow. Well, otherwise it's kind of hit and miss, isn't it?
Mm.
Is it worth going the distance when you've got similar kind of facilities closer by?
Yeah, and I think knowing what we know now about this year's guest area, we'd have been annoyed if we'd have made the effort to go, which we'll get onto in a minute.
So speaking of annoyance, we should go to Friday.
Yeah, I always like Friday morning. I feel like it's a chill out morning because the bands start later, so I can just take time getting ready.
Yeah, I mean, the first half was fine. And
it started out, the weather was all right again, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Got up, had a shower. Used the pamper room. Actually, the pamper rooms, that's something we need to mention, something different for RIP this year.
Yeah.
Or at least in Sleepy Hollow. In previous years, they've been open 24/7. This year, there was a sign on saying they're only open from, bear with, I could not read it down, was it 7 a.m. to 8 p.m, I think?
That sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, which, has never happened before. I think part of it was potentially people going in there to use the electric for
Kettles,
things that were,
phones.
yeah.
That's never been an issue before, has it?
Not that I'm aware of. And the thing is as well, if you'd like been in the arena all day, you thought, oh, I'll have a shower before bed, and you want to dry your hair, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Or if you've been in the rain as well, you might just nip in and dry your hair before you go to bed, so you're not going to bed with wet hair, and that's kind of a bonus. So I don't know whether that's to bring it in line with Refresh Retreat, because I don't know if the showers and toilets on that kind of Camping Plus upgrade thing, if they're limited, or what really. I did notice as you walked through Metal Meadow 1, they had like a glass dome as their pamper area this year.
I'm sure I've seen that before, though.
No,
I didn't know. I didn't realise it was a pamper area.
No, that was new for this year.
Was it?
Yeah. So everyone can like walk past and watch you getting ready, which a bit weird.
Weird, yeah.
But yeah, and I can't remember who I was talking to, but somebody did tell me that they went in there and they were charging their phone while they were doing their hair, and they got told off by security for having their phone on charge. So yeah, the fun police were out in force.
Yeah.
On that one this year.
If there's nobody in there and nobody waiting, what's the harm?
Exactly, and it's usually a spare plug or two.
Yeah.
It's the 4-plug extensions per get ready station, so.
I feel it was more like they were trying to force people to use the lockers.
Maybe for charging.
For charging facilities.
Think of that could be. Oh, we're cynical.
What, we're cynical about Live Nation? No.
But on a related note, I have to say, I think the showers and toilets were the cleanest I've known them this year.
They were, weirdly, I didn't see that many people cleaning them, but they were spotless.
They were constantly, after you came out the shower, going in and sluicing the water out.
Yeah.
And the toilets were always spotless. Even on Monday morning. Like last year on Monday before we left, they were just grim. But this year they were as spotless as they were when we turned up. Yeah,
they did a really good job on the cleaning. I will admit that. Especially given the conditions as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, by Sunday, it was really boggy getting to the toilets and the showers, but the facilities themselves, I almost felt bad when I got mud on the floor going into the shower on, I think it was Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Because I toddled up in my sliders and gone in, and I was like, oh, I'm making it dirty. But someone was like straight in. As soon as I came out, someone was in with like a moppy thing cleaning it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a change for this year, the limits on the pamper huts. And then, the weather stayed dry till about 2:00.
Yeah, and I can't remember. Did I go down in wellies on Friday?
Yeah, because I rang you and told you.
Oh, yeah, that was it.
We didn't, because, again, because of some of the bands that pulled out due to the Barclays issue, the times got mixed up a bit particularly on Dogtooth, I think, on Friday, didn't they? Defects. The Defects were supposed to open, and we were going to go down to watch them open. But they got moved later on.
To about 3:00.
Yeah, about 3:00. So the first band I wanted to then go and see was those Damn Gross, who weren't on it till 2.
Yeah, but because of the change in times, it kind of put me in an awkward position because of the way that, and the times that had updated and people pushed further down the bill. I was going to go and watch Defects first thing, and then there was those Damn Crows after, and it was a good run, as it were, for me. But instead, I was kind of left with those Damn Crows at 2 or whatever time they came on, and there was nothing on for was it an hour and a half after that I wanted to watch?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at an old Clash Finder now, and times changed from that.
Yeah,
but you'd got quite a gap.
I got a huge gap, and I've seen, I do like them, really like them, and I've seen them play quite a few times, but I don't want to go through basically like boggy swamps to watch them, to come back again, to then have to go through it again. It didn't feel a useful amount of energy to expel.
Weren't even that boggy then.
No.
The grass was still slightly green.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I left, we could see these dark clouds rolling over from kind of Breeden Hill, the weather little funny thing is, isn't it? And it looked like they were going to miss us. And I was umming and ahhing, wasn't I, whether to go for those Damn Crows. I'm like, it's going to rain, it's not. And I thought, no, I'm going to go. And by the time I got to the arena, it started hooting down.
Absolutely. It was like a monsoon.
Yeah, so it's very unlikely that I'll be listening, I'm sure. But the three people who were in front of me at those time grows who helped me get into my disposable poncho, thank you again. Because the wind was blowing and it was flapping everywhere, and I was trying to keep my phone dry. And I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I'd forgot you told me about your poncho experience.
yeah, because I didn't take my actual raincoat because it didn't look too bad at that point. So I'm like, right, I'll be fine with a pack of poncho, the disposable one, you know.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
because all of the times got changed and a lot of bands pulled out, you kind of had to everybody had to kind of replan their day in a sense,
mm,
which, I get why they did it. So, we're not going to go into the should they, shouldn't they, it's the band's choice. If that's what
yeah,
they want to do, that's what they want to do.
fair enough, isn't it, to them?
Yeah. And yeah, it kind of messed the day up. And
So anyway, yeah, just going back to those damn crows. Have seen them a few times already, but it's good to see them on the main stage again. They mainly played the new stuff, which was good, but they didn't play any of what I thought would be, their classics. Rock and Roll Ain't Dead didn't play that, for example, and that used to be kind of a staple
yeah,
finish with. But it was still good to hear the newer stuff.
the place
Can't
Sin on
remember.
Skin
I think they might have been. I can't remember now.
for an in-depth
Give
review.
it an in-depth review after all that, yeah. It was raining. What can I say? But no, they're always good live, aren't they?
Yeah.
They had pyro, which is always good, especially when it's raining.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone seemed to be, they had a good crowd considering the rain and the huge downpour we had literally as soon as they came on stage. So, having said that, I did miss, I think, the first track because what we've not mentioned yet is the new walkway from RIP to the guest area.
An absolute fucking joke.
Yeah.
So the way you used to come out, you'd get to the main, well, not the main road, but there's the road that runs right through, isn't there? And you get to that and you just cross over and walk in a straight line. Then they changed it slightly last year.
Yeah. So it kind of veered round so you could go to the arena without going in the guest area,
Yeah.
I guess. And then obviously this year, because they moved access camping to where more of Metal Meadow was, you had to cross over the production road. And then it's kind of a right, left, round the edge of access camping to get to security, to then walk round a bit further again to get into the guest area. So I'd say it was added on 10 minutes more to the arena walk
Yeah.
than what we're used to. So if you weren't aware of that and you planned your route to get to a band the first time,
And there wasn't any reason for it either, because they'd left a huge gap. So they could have just fenced straight through the middle of it.
to the access camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just so that access people could get in and out of the arena, and that was their dedicated entrance. So,
But they'd still have an entrance to get in and out of. It was completely unnecessary. And they can't say it was, oh, we couldn't get the fencing to do this and that. It's like, well, you use more fencing on right around the fucking outskirts of Castle Donington.
yeah, it's like a blood start to get from press camping into the guest area, as it were. You walk kind of alongside the edge of access camp there, don't you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a longer walk than what we're used to by some amount. And although the map came out beforehand, we couldn't quite work out. It almost looked like you went that way, but I was a bit like, well, surely they're not going to make us go all
They're
the
not
way
going to
back.
make us go right round, but yeah, they did.
And I know it's like an only 10-minute walk in the grand scheme of things, not a lot, but at the same time,
Well, it's an extra 10 minutes either way. But when it's like a fucking quagmire.
that as well was an issue which made it worse. And obviously, when you're paying for a short walk to the arena and
Yeah.
it's getting as long
It's
as
getting as long as
another
walking
walk.
from normal camping, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then new security, which took longer to get through.
Yeah, a lot longer.
And they were definitely more interested in frisking than finding things in your bag this year.
Yeah, that's what you said. You were they
Like,
were not really on the lookout for just booze, weren't they? That's all they were.
but they hardly looked in my bag at all. I literally opened it a little bit and they'd take a peek in, and that was it. But it was a full frontal and rear frisk every time. They had male, female cues.
Mm.
I'm not sure how non-binary people got on in that situation.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know if that was considered, but yeah, it was weird, that whole thing. And I don't know if it's because there's always a lot of talk, where people talk about their ways of smuggling drinking. A lot of people have little mini hydration pouches and they put them down the bras kind of thing. Whether they were on it because they think that's just what everyone does, I don't know. I could have had anything in my bag.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have noticed at all. They were going through some bigger bags a little bit more. But even then, not a lot.
No, the bag queue seemed to keep moving quite well.
It was literally a cursory glance most of the time.
Yeah, and they did have more male security guards, so I was getting through like a lot quicker than you were.
It varied on different days, I think. Sometimes there were 2 female queues and 1 male queue.
Yeah.
Because you didn't seem to get frisked as much.
I did to a point,
Yeah.
but they weren't like I've been frisked more heavily.
Yeah. But again, they kind of stopped doing patting, didn't they? After the pandemic. I don't think I've been patted down since the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you. It's always been like a little tap here and there.
Metal detected, but never like fully patted in that way for a long time.
Yeah, there were definitely more on it on the Friday, I think.
And Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday they just didn't give a shit.
Still got patted Sunday though.
Oh yeah, but I mean it was less intense, is what I mean.
Yeah, I think at one point, because sometimes you'd have your bag looked at first, sometimes you get patted first, and I think at one point I got patted, I think it was Saturday, it might have been Sunday, and I opened my bag for the male security after, and he just weren't even bothered. It was just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Literally. So that was interesting. But yeah, when I first got through, as I was walking to those damn crows, I rang you and said, you need your wellies and allow more time to get in. To those damn crows, I went over to the second stage, Opus, if you will. It is Opus in its second.
Yeah.
To watch Scene Queen. The sun had come out by this point. It was glorious. I got out of my soggy poncho and had a lovely dance. So yeah, I was a bit kind of on the fence whether to bother watching Scene Queen because I'd seen her before supporting Wargasm.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the times had changed and originally she was going to clash with Ern and then that didn't happen because of the dogtooth changes. So yeah, I went over, had a lovely dance in the sunshine. She was great. Lots of man-hating songs for everyone.
Yep.
She was very impressed to see a Pikachu mosh pit. It was a weird kind of crowd where I was stood. I think some people didn't get her at all.
Yeah. I imagine if you don't know who Scene Queen is, then that would be the response.
Yeah.
Or if you're waiting for somebody who's going to be on after Scene Queen.
Well, yeah. All them witches were on after.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the comments overheard were, yeah, you're not getting the point of this, are you? She's saying these things for a reason and you're probably the reason.
Yeah.
And one of my favourite comments was like, oh, she's just too American.
What?
Exactly.
Right, okay.
But yeah, it was great. We had a nice little twerkle pit, of course, and all the usual Scene Queen stuff. Had some sing-alongs, and yeah, it was a fun time. So after Scene Queen, I met you for Defects in the Dogtooth.
You did? They were really good. I'm glad I got to watch them. Been listening to them before, and I like it when I'm not disappointed by a band I've started liking and then watch them the first time live.
Yeah, it's always kind of a risk, isn't it? I don't think I was disappointed by anyone over the weekend.
I don't think I was.
No, I don't think I was, really. Yeah, I really enjoyed them as well.
Yeah, it was definitely worth the effort to get to Defects.
And then after Defects, I think that's where we had another little Rockfit gathering and a few of the instructors did a flash mob in front of the Sophie stall. So I don't know if anyone caught that. There was a few people gathered around to watch it. There's about 20 instructors partaking in that because we weren't allowed to have more than 20 people. Yeah,
while you were doing that, I went to see All Them Witches, and that was amazing. And another band that I'd been wanting to watch a lot, and again, not disappointed. And I was kind of, it was like my weekend was kind of really setting up there. I'd seen Defects, they were really good. Watched All Them Witches, they were really good.
Yeah, I feel like things were starting to pick up a bit after getting drowned watching those damn crows and the sun coming out.
Yeah.
Things were on the up at that point. So yeah, then we met for Ern, finally.
Yeah.
In the Dogtooth. I scurried away from the Rockfit gang and met you. I remember calling at the bar at some point. Oh, was that when I bought you Carlsberg? I don't know why.
Yeah, I've no idea.
I need to get pints, and my brain just got Carlsberg, and I don't know why. And then you seemed to be taking forever to come and meet me, and my hands were freezing.
I think that might have been the churn at that point.
It wasn't that churny at that point. I think
it
had just taken you a while to get over from all them, which I don't know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't ring you because I got 2 pints in my hand, and you know how the Dogtooth's on a slope, so I couldn't put them down.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I could have just said, "Can you just hold my pint while I'm like, please turn up soon." And I just thought I was,
it took me ages to get out. Yeah. It took me ages to get out of the tent, I think.
But I just thought it was quite funny that I thought I would just do standing there holding the pints, kept looking around for you. But the couple who were stood behind were relieved for me when you turned up because they were like, we could tell that you were like desperate for someone to join you because you were holding these pints and you looked cold. And I was like, yes. That's quite funny. But yeah, and another band that were awesome seeing live for the first time because we missed them at Bloodstock last year. Obviously, we didn't see them on the Thursday night, so it's great to get them ticked off. They put on a really good show.
Yeah, again another one I'm finally kind of glad I've got to see, got to do, and yeah, and then I think there a bit of a gap after that.
There was, yeah. I somehow missed the Callous Dow Boys, and I can't remember because their time got moved out, and I ended up not seeing them because they were originally on my list. We went back to the guest area for a bit and watched some Blackstone Cherry from there.
Yes.
Because we've not mentioned yet, the Screens were back, Metallica's Towers were back, not Metallica's.
Yeah, but like, well, how's it you describe them?
I said they were like
Was it
Poundland Towers.
Poundland Metallica Towers?
They didn't look as good on the pictures. They looked like they were square and flat, like they were a Sheen or a Wish version.
But yeah, they were
Actually, they
curved.
were better in person.
And they also had camera footage from them.
Yeah, that was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, which I don't know why they didn't do more of.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it looked like all of the four towers were set at points and they could all film with kind of like fisheye lenses.
Yeah.
And it creates almost like a globe.
Yeah,
And
really cool,
I don't know why they didn't do more of that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we went to the guest area. I think we might have had a drink there.
Yeah.
Bit of a sit. Saw a bit of Blackstone Cherry. I think we were going to go back to the arena for them, but I think we were just having a restful point at that point.
Yeah, we were trying not to overexert because we knew what was coming.
Yeah, because I think I'd been kind of up and around and about for about 3 hours at that point. And then it was one of what I would say was one of the weekend's highlights.
Yeah, 100%.
Mr. Bungle.
It was just fucking insane. It was grade A insanity.
What I loved as well that anyone who knows Mr. Bungle knows that there is this kind of weird, obscure, varied back catalogue, and we didn't know what we were going to get.
Yeah, that's what I loved more.
Yeah,
is that you don't know what you're going to get.
it was just a perfect random mix.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the fuck Mike Patton was doing with his hair because he kind of looked like it's kind of like Coolio meets.
I kept thinking Coolio.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just weird. But yeah, I mean, and his voice is fucking phenomenal.
Considering how long he's been going, I know we say this often, but yeah.
Yeah, there are certain artists who just can't do it. Like you always say about Vince, don't you? But yeah, Mike Patton's vocals just absolutely insanity.
It's shown no deterioration.
No.
At all.
No, he's got a full range. Yeah, and yeah, it was just another great performance. You get just random pop songs thrown in.
Yeah, I can't remember which ones he did now off the top of my head. As well as obviously some of the thrash stuff was thrown in there as well. He was just all over the place, but it worked so well.
It did. I think the people that maybe weren't fans of or didn't know much about Mr. Bungle were kind of going, what the fuck is this? I don't get it.
I almost think you could tell who in the crowd knew what was going on and people who were just, I don't know, maybe there for curiosity's sake or waiting for the next band or whatever it was.
But yeah, it was good. So good. I never thought I'd get to see Mr. Bungle, and I'm so glad I have now.
Yeah, it's still blowing my mind now thinking about it and the fact we did get to see them. Yeah, it was definitely a highlight of the weekend. As were the next band, also on the second stage, and another band we definitely didn't want to miss, Heilung.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, my band of the weekend. They have put on one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
It was just mesmerizing. You were just entranced with it all, weren't you? It was It's one of those things that, I mean, they're playing Glastonbury this year. They are, yeah.
And I've said to a friend of mine who's going, whatever you do, don't miss them. They're the best band I've ever seen. And they're so visually striking, and the vocals, it's just got a combination of everything.
Yeah, the different instruments, the different members that they've got with the different vocals, the whole, even the kind of the sepia tint on the screens.
That was one of my favourite things as well.
That was just captivating.
Yeah.
And I saw a post in one of the Facebook groups, someone just said, oh, what was the highlight of Friday? So many people said Heilung. And I was really surprised because obviously they're so different for a band at Download. I didn't know how they'd go down.
Mm.
And obviously some of the crowd there, they could have been waiting for Funeral for a Friend.
Yeah.
Who were up next.
But just beautiful, kind of just a strange kind of emotional sort of roller coaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, and even down to like the ritual that they did when they ended the show.
Yeah,
It's like a whole kind of way of life, isn't it?
yeah.
So
And
yeah, we need to check out their tour dates. They're doing a few dates next
they
April.
are, yeah. And we've kind of penciled, earmarked one in. It's just a bit of a trek.
Yeah, we need to look at that properly,
You know
actually.
what? We should probably look if there's any in Europe. 'Cause it's probably going to be easier to get there.
Possibly,
We
yeah.
could just fly for like if we're in France, we could just fly from East Mids. I'll probably get there quicker.
But yeah, if you get a chance to see Halong, do it. I think watching them before and watching some of their videos, I kind of had a vague idea of what to expect, but I did not expect it to be that.
I didn't expect about 15 people all doing different things, and
I didn't expect what they had in their music videos to really come to life in that way on stage
yeah,
and just hold the
the
crowd the way they did.
the music videos, as good as they are, and how good they sound, doesn't actually do them justice. They're better. They're better live.
And they're one of those as well, like when they first got added to the lineup and listening to like the random playlist, and they just stood out from the start.
Yeah,
And then when we watched some of the videos, I was like, what is this? But in a good
yeah,
way.
in a good way. Yeah, it's like I really like this, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but I need to see it.
If it was a movie, it'd be A Clockwork Orange because it doesn't fit into any other genre.
Yeah.
It's just a film that isn't quite one thing and it's not
Yeah.
quite another.
And it's almost a bit Donnie Darko-y in a way. It's
Yeah.
like you know what's going on, but you don't know how
You don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
Yeah. But in your head, you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. My favourite band. Like I said, possibly one of the best bands I've ever seen live.
And musically, that's pretty much where Friday ended, really.
Well, we watched a little bit of Quatsa as we were kind of leaving.
Yeah, we did see a bit of Royal Blood, either on the way to or from Halong. I feel like it must have been on the way to.
Yeah, I'd kind of
Halong.
forgotten about that, to be honest.
I mean, like literally as you walk across the top of
Yeah.
the main arena, they were on stage. I was like, oh yeah, that's Royal Blood. I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think pretty much as we got out of the crowd from Halong, because we were right at the front, weren't we? Pretty
Yeah.
much. Quatsa was starting, and we needed some food.
Yeah. They surprised me starting with Little Sister and like playing a lot of the older stuff straight away.
I didn't really know what to expect from them, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I know you didn't particularly want to watch them, but kind of watched a few songs and then like they sounded all right. And like, I mean, we left early from that, but I did see like a lot of people saying, "What the fuck was Josh Homme on?"
I saw a few comments like that.
Yeah.
I've not read a lot of reviews on the actual performance, but I've had, some. In fact, I think I saw kind of a made up set list about all the stuff he was coming out with.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't stay for the full set because I think that it disappointed me after seeing them in Leeds.
I was going to say, when I saw them in Leeds, they were all right. I mean, it rained, but by the by.
Yeah, and yeah, so we watched a little bit, but I wasn't really. I was going to stay longer, but I was kind of like, well, you want to go back, so I'll come with you.
We got food though, didn't we? We've not actually mentioned any Friday food, so we probably just should mention that because you all know we love festival food. We shared a guest area pizza. That was possibly before Mr. Bungle. Must have been before Mr.
It was
Bungle.
before Mr. Bungle.
Just a margarita.
Well, yeah, if I'm going to share a pizza with you, it's got to be margarita.
That is true. But yeah, we didn't. I think because we were at a point where we both needed food, but I didn't necessarily want a full pizza. I just needed to eat a bit of something at that point.
Yeah.
To tide me over. Yeah, it was all right.
Served a purpose. It was better than Bloodstock's pizza last year.
Yeah, and it was £9, which I didn't think was bad.
No, it's not actually for
a margarita.
For a festival.
But then later on, I had one of my favourite foods of the weekend. I've got quite a few best ever foods of the weekend, and I've also had one of my worst ever foods of the weekend. Although we fortunately weren't one of the poor souls who got food poisoning.
Yeah, that was bad.
That aside, I went to Big Mouth Gyoza for the first time. They were on my hit list when the food got released on the app. I marked them in and had the mushroom gyozas with a side of fries, and they were amazing.
Oh.
And you tried a bit, didn't you?
I did. It was good. Yeah. And I had possibly the best mac and cheese I've had, probably ever.
Yeah, and that was from Seychelles.
Yeah. Really good. It was the posh one I went for. And there was like loads of pesto in it. And I mean, I love pesto, but like loads of pesto. Everything. I mean, the only thing that was missing actually was like a shitload of chorizo or some kind of, bacon, that, because I
Yeah.
always prefer it with that. But if it's not there, it's still enjoyable. But that itself, it's like a lot of it as well.
A good portion.
It's a really good size. I'm getting hungry just thinking about that.
I'm just craving those gyozas again. But yeah, I think they were both good value for money. I know we said it before, like most festival food, you pay roughly the same amount, so you need to scope out where you're going to get best volume for money
Yeah.
to keep you full. And kind of looking, you only got 6 of the gyozas in the thing, but they were filling because they were stuffed really full, and a good lot of chips with nice seasoning.
Then, so we went to the guest area, another guest area. We went to Park Farm.
We did. You were going to watch the end of the Scotland game, but it was quite full in the bit where they were showing it, wasn't it?
No, it was empty.
Was it? I thought you said it was quite full.
No, I said it was really quiet.
Well, I think they were 5-1 down at that point.
4-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got instant recall on that. It was 4-0. Okay. I said to you, it's empty in there, but it's really quiet. Sorry, but it's 4-0. There's not much point. It's over. It's just going to be an exhibition game now. So we just went and got a couple of drinks, didn't we? And
yeah, we had a pre-bed pint.
Or two.
I think you had 2. I had 1. Standard.
Yeah.
And then poddled back to the tent for an early night. And I think Potts were still on the background, were they? Or have they just finished?
They just finished as we got back to the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think that's pretty much it for Wednesday to Friday.
Yeah. The weather was set at an average bar at this point because it did get better as the day went on.
Yeah.
But some of the bands set the bar very high at this point.
That is true, yeah, because the smaller bands were excellent. And the 2 bands that I was most bothered about were just unbelievable. That bar was set really high on Friday. And I'm glad I had more energy to enjoy those bands.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a good full first day of the arena.
Yeah.
Overall, all was well that ended well. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed listening to our recap on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and some insights into the updates and changes to RIP that we've mentioned so far. I'm sure there's a few more to come in the next episode that we forgot about. Yeah, let us know what you enjoyed on those days. Don't forget to check out our socials where there'll be some photos and some videos. I've still got festival brain. Check out the socials, you'll see stuff, So we're on Instagram, Twitter, and X at Ready to Moshcast. No, Twitter and X, they're the same thing.
They are the same thing.
Instagram, Twitter or X, and Threads at Ready to Moshcast. Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Ready to Mosh. The vlog will be out on the YouTube at some point. I don't know when, because we've got the busiest week in the world following downloads, so bear with us on that one. And don't forget, we have now got a Patreon for £3 a month. And for that, you get to listen to all the bloopers that don't make it into the show, of which there are a lot from this episode, I'm sure. You also get to listen to episodes a full 24 hours in advance before anyone else, wherever possible. And you get to find out what's coming up from the month ahead before anyone else. I think that's everything for now. But yeah, keep an eye out on all of those. And if you want to support the podcast for free, please give us a like, share, 5-star review on wherever you're listening. Tell people to listen to us. That would be very lovely. And we'll be back with the second part of our download review very soon. Make it Mud Moog.